Okay guys, good morning guys. Today we are going to be working on WRX. We're going to be installing the IAG AOS, which is, it's another reliability mod. It's a must for these Subarus, really for any turbo car, but for these Subarus you get a lot of blow by, and if you're trying to extend the life of your WRX, this is just another one of those mods that you really should do. It's kind of an extensive install, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'll show you guys the box, the unboxing of the AOS here. Here's the box. It comes in straight from IAG. You got all your hardware, your fittings, your clamps, your relocation plate in here. Here is the AOS. I got the red because I got other red in my engine bay. All the different tubes and some heat shielding for the tubes. Okay guys, I did forget to mention this is the street series of this AOS. There is a competitive series. This one does not require a tune, the other one does. But let's go ahead and start things off. We're gonna have to relocate this, which it comes with a relocation plate. We're gonna start by taking off the two 10 millimeters on this, on our main plug bracket. Okay, that just broke. Okay guys, now you want to take this bracket off. There is a zip tie down here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. You can push it through if you want, but I'm just not even going to deal with that. Now there's a little tab. Kind of want to pry that up and then just wiggle this bracket off. Take that bracket off. See, there's a little tab that you kind of got to pry off, not pry off, but tilt up to get out of that hole. Pretty sure we are not going to be using this. We're going to take this plate that came with your iOS and we're going to slide it in just how that bracket came out. It's got a little square hole. Slide it in. It'll clip in. So it looks just like that. Now you've got a power steering bracket here, holds your power steering line. 10 millimeter right here. That's where we're going to be mounting this. So let's go ahead and take that out. Put that back in. Tighten it back up. Alright, so now that is relocated. Alright, let's go ahead and remove the top mount intercooler, get that out of the way. We're going to take this hose clamp, slide it back. We're going to take out this 12 millimeter bolt here, and then you got two 12 millimeter bolts here on your turbo. Alright, then you have a 8 millimeter on a hose clamp down here. Grab this intercooler, or this bypass line here, and then your whole intercooler should come right out. And there you go. Okay, now we got I think it's a PVC breather line that is down here, right under your coolant reservoir. You got two lines. We're going to be taking off the forwardmost line. So you just take some pliers and pull that hose clamp up, and then that should come up. I will link these in the description. There it is. Those were nice. So you're looking for the ones with these white fittings on here. Okay, go ahead and take this off. Take this hose off. Set that to the side. Okay, now we gotta do the passenger side. Just find your white connector and follow it down to your cylinder head and just take that same hose clamp off. It's still the forwardmost one. It is pretty deep in there. But I can still get it with these regular pliers. All right, now go ahead and undo this one like you did the other side. Okay. Now both of your PCV breathers are off both sides. Okay guys, the next one we're going to be taking off is a little hard to see. It is back here. So there's your turbo. You can see there's your turbo. Follow it. This here is the white connector. So we're going to be taking that hose clamp off right in front of it, right under that plug. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that plug real quick, and we should be able to get that out. All right, so there is that PCV valve right there. Now we need to remove this hose here. Okay, so remove that hose clamp up here, up under your intake manifold. Then I'm going to undo this wire connector here. Try to at least. All right, so there's that. So you've got your electrical clip, and then you've got your, like a tube that goes in there. It'll all just pull out together. Pretty simple. IAG gives you a cap to cap off this line in here that you just took off. But I have seen where people have deleted that whole hard line going across. So I am going to try to do that. All right guys, so here's what we're doing. We're removing this hard line because you're literally not using it at all once you put your AOS in. You don't need to do this. You'll just need to cap off like this end, I think. But I'm taking it out. Less stuff in the engine bay. So first, this was down here. So first I went ahead and loosened up these brackets. You got three bolts here. Just take them out, set them aside. Then you've got 3 bolts in the back of this wire harness. Take that out, and then this thing's kind of tough, but it pops out. So once you pop it out, you can get to this hard line you're deleting. So you want to come over here to the first PCV valve that we took off. I'm going to go ahead and, I just unplugged it. I'm going to go ahead and take this hose off of that. Okay. Then this has a tube that comes up to the front to your, I think your turbo inlet. We're going to go ahead and undo that. That's why we loosened all the stuff up front here. Okay guys, we just got this out. It was kind of a pain. Just have patience when you're doing it and you can get it out. You'll be looking at this connector that's up front on the end of this hose. You'll be looking at that being like, how in the world can I get that off? So this
was twisted around the bottom, so I couldn't take this hose clamp off. So what I did was I took these pliers and wrapped them around this hose and really just pried the hose off the fitting. Just got it, worked it off of there. I would highly recommend these, but I know some of you are gonna be like, what the heck, I don't have these. You can buy them off Amazon, they're linked below. But if you don't have those, try to get some pliers, maybe some needle nose, get down on that, and just twist this, just push this off. So then, once you got that loose, this is underneath this wiring harness. What I did was I pulled this side out here like this, and then got this hose up out of there and pulled it out like that. And then it came out. We have these white PCV valves that we took off because we just got rid of that thing. We're gonna be using the metal plug in here as a jumper and then taping it up. But we're not gonna do that just yet. Yeah, I'll bolt the wiring harness back on, but all this stuff up here, I'm gonna go ahead and leave loose because we're gonna have to get down to this hose on the turbo inlet. You only need to put one bolt back in for this wire harness because the other two weren't actually for the wire harness. They were to hold that hose out we just took out. Back here where you disconnected this PCV valve, there is a kind of like an assembly of hoses that connect down straight down into the block. It's got a big like coupler. I'm going to just hook onto that with a pair of pliers and yank it out. Okay, here it is. Okay, so it's got one that goes back in, a long skinny one. We're also going to take that off. Right there. All right guys, here's what we're dealing with now. This, you're gonna take your Y fitting that IAG supplied you, put this fat little hose on, and then you're gonna put this hose clamp on. With this hose clamp, you just put like needle nose here and pinch, and it'll crimp on. It's pretty cool. So the way this is gonna go on is it's gonna go on like this. This little Y piece coming off is gonna go towards your firewall, and then I think you turn it a little bit like that. Okay guys, I wanted to show you this valve. I've been working with it for quite a while. It is a pain. Here it is. So AOS supplies two of those metal hose clamps, those spring clamps. One goes on top, which you just saw, one goes down on the bottom. That one down there is 99.9% impossible to get on. I did get it on, but I honestly don't think it's even, I think it's above the fitting, it needs to be lower, but it's literally impossible to get the thing on with the motor in the car because you got all the stuff in the way. I know a lot of people don't even put those on there, but I really wanted to try to get it on, and I got it on just to prevent leaking, but I honestly don't think it's gonna leak that bad. Okay guys, we are going to be installing some hoses on your AOS now. First one we're gonna do is the bottom drain line. You're gonna take your 26-inch hose, 1/2 inch by 26, and install it on the bottom. We're gonna take some of these hose clamps. So we got two for the 1/2 inch. Take a pair of pliers, put one on each end. We're gonna be trimming this down, but go ahead and put one on the other end too. Put one on this end, obviously, to go onto your AOS. The wider the pliers, the better for you. Because they are hard to squeeze. Are we recording? Yes, we are. Okay. Let's get this bracket on here. Use your 3 Allen bolts. I'm gonna leave 2 holes in the bottom. I'm gonna leave 2 holes in the top, so it's gonna be right in the middle. It's right in the middle, and then you've got your 2 holes going downward. All right, let's go ahead and get this in there. You're going to use the 2 existing holes. We're going to take these 2 lines coming out of the bottom. It does not matter where these go, like which orientation, obviously. So one is going to go here, and then that goes down. That's where this one's going to go. So I'm just going to kind of route these. Okay. I also have these hose clamps to prevent you from spilling coolant everywhere. So I am going to clamp that line off. Take this, well, let's cut this first. I would get some of these hose cutters if you don't have any. I'll link them in the description. Also, IAG provides this heat shielding. Now I'm going to reuse this clamp just because I have it here and I know it works. It's on here. Put your hose clamp back, the lines. So we'll cut this one off here. Perfect, no coolant. You really want to try to avoid them resting on the turbo heat shield, but that is why we have those sleeves on here. Okay guys, now we are going to deal with the annoying part. We're going to take this hose that we put on coming out of the bottom of the AOS, loop it around, put it through this hole right onto your Y fitting. We're gonna slide this clamp that we put on down onto it once we get it on. First thing I'm gonna do is hold it down there where I want it, mark it, and then cut it so we don't have so much extra. So let's do that. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and put it back on. Oh, that hurt. Don't forget heat shielding. I'll show you guys what I did there. Loop this around through that hole and down on that IAG valve that we installed. Push the hose clamp down. Okay, now we're gonna take our 5/8 hose, grab our elbow here. We're gonna cut 2 inches off of it. 2 inches, put this on here. Get you a bigger hose clamp. Put her on. Like that. Grab another one, put it on your long hose. Slide your long hose on there. Put your clamp back down. So that's what you got. Just like that. Let's go ahead and put one more clamp on your smaller hose. Just like that. Now let's go back to the car. We need more heat shielding, which IAG probably would have said this if I would have read the instructions, but I am going to cut these 2 zip ties I put on, take heat shielding off of this shorter hose, cut it in half, and use it for this other big hose. Okay, this goes right here. I'm going to maneuver my clamp around so it's easier for me to slide it on like that. Okay, bottommost port here. Now this is going to go down into that port on the block. That was annoying as heck to get in there, and this is also going to be annoying as heck to get in there. First though, make sure you have a hose clamp on the end of this. Thought I put one on, apparently not. No, okay. Put your heat shield on. I don't think we're gonna need to cut this one because it's gonna kind of be like hidden underneath the intercooler, but we'll see here. The plug down here, that's pretty much in the way of everything, but I guess we gotta work around it somehow. Okay, let me show you guys what I just did. So, focus. So, plug this plug in first before you try to fit this hose down in there. Basically just press that hose down on there, and I took some pliers and squeezed the clamp together and then used a flathead screwdriver and pressed down on the back side of the clamp and slipped it past everything. But as you can see, it's very tight in there. So just work on wiggling everything down in there. Now is when we're gonna do something a little different. I'm following Schmedia's video here. So this is the first hose we took off of your valve cover down there. So we're gonna just take the black piece off, if I can figure out how it comes off. Your black piece, it just slides up. So we're getting rid of this, getting rid of this. Now, this white thing, we're just getting rid of that because it's ugly. So, there's a little metal piece in here. You're gonna take your needle nose pliers, pull that out. Get rid of your white piece. Here's what you just pulled out. Yes, right there. You just pulled that out. We're gonna put that in the plug. We're gonna plug that. We're gonna plug the two prongs back into your plug so you don't get any kind of air code. Then we're gonna electrical tape that plug, sealed, tuck it away, forget about it. If you're in California, do not do this, leave that white piece on. Here's this, take your black piece off. There. Take this. Plug it in. Tape it up. Okay. Tuck it away. Make sure it's not on anything like the turbo. Done with that. We're going to take the longest hose IAG supplied. We're going to put it on the top port of the AOS like that. I did already put a clamp on. Slide this clamp up. We're going to route this hose up here along everything. I'm just going to put one zip tie right there. Now we're going to route this down to the open port on your valve cover that we freed up earlier. I'm going to trim it down, push it down there and trim it down. Right here, where's my hose cutters? Here they are. Put that there. These things are nice. We're going to get a hose clamp. Put the hose clamp on without blasting your eye. All right, now just reach down in there and get your hose clamp all the way down, which is really the hardest part of this entire install, is just doing that on everything. Okay, now we're going to do the Same thing with the other side. This one will go to the middle port, down to your valve cover. Let's put a hose clamp on here. This is just the excess hose from the other side. Put this on and just put it down at the bottom, and I think you can slide it past. You can slide it down in there still. That way you're not dealing with trying to get it on with pliers. Okay, next hose. We've got the 3 on top left. This one is made up for you. It's got an arrow on the valve here in the middle. The arrow should point towards the intake manifold. So this goes on your air oil separator right here. Let's get this hose clamp so we can easily access it. All right. So this goes on here. Slide your clamp on. Okay. Now, the other end of this goes to the back of your intake manifold. Okay, let me show you guys where that was. It was in a real crappy spot, but so arrow going to the valve cover, or the intake manifold, goes down in there, back in there. That clamp sucked to slide in there because that's tight. It's like almost too small, but there's that. Now, we only have these last 2 hoses on top. Okay guys, we got these last 2 lines here. We're gonna take a line from right here and go back down. You have a white PCV valve down here. We're gonna do the same thing we did with that. We're gonna take that out, I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna jumper this like the others. Okay guys, let me run through this. So we got it all installed. So we'll start here. So this hose I've got going down to the port on the turbo inlet. The reason we had to put it back here, not here, is because we took that middle bar out, that middle tube out. That's the only thing that you use that for, but we just bypassed it and went right to the turbo inlet. We've got this other line that went down to your white PCV valve. I left that on there. I didn't jumper it out like I did the other ones. The top one, it went back to the port below your intake manifold. The uppermost one, let me switch positions here. The uppermost port on your AOS came all the way around down to your valve cover, your driver's side valve cover. The middle port looped back around to your passenger, the middle port looped back around to your passenger side valve cover. The bottommost port on the AOS went up and around to the top of the block. And then the valve we installed, the tube we installed on the very bottom of the AOS, up underneath of it, the first one we did, it goes down and around to your, it's the drain, goes down and around to the Y fitting on the back of the block. So that is all the parts there. I'm gonna go ahead and put the intercooler back on and bolt everything back up, including these wire brackets right here.
So stick around. So stick around.
Okay guys, it appears nothing's leaking, everything went great. I mean, it didn't take much thinking, the install, but there was a lot of real tight spaces that made it hard to get hose clamps on or hose clamps in. I hope I was able to assist you guys in installing your AOS. I'll link the tools down below that I used. The hose clamps that I used to pinch it off to keep the coolant running out, those are pretty unnecessary because it's at the top so your coolant's down anyway. But I'll link everything below. Thank you guys for watching. If I helped you out, do me a favor, like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks guys.